Mark? Good?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, really good. Let's go down on the list here. What else have we got? Tommy, good to see you. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Mladen, where have you been? It's been a while.
I haven't seen you for a while as well, Colin. How are you?
I thought it was personal, but it appears not. So that's good. There we go. There we go. Eve, lovely to see you. How are you? Nice to see you. Give us a wave. Adrian, you made it through COVID. I'm so pleased. That's good. Alexa, how are you? Good to see you. Mohammed, we met the other day. How are you? Good. So look, what typically happens in these, this is only our second one, right? And purposely, we haven't pumped this quite as hard as the first one, because I'm not sure if anyone was on the first one. It was a bit rushed, right? It
was nuts.
It was nuts. It was nuts for us on the back end. It's been nuts for us trying to get the videos up. You will have noticed that some of the pitches from last week are actually up and available. They should be on a YouTube channel somewhere near you. Who else do we have here? Sam, hi, good to see you. Hello. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start kicking into the presentation here. Now, the whole purpose of Pitch Club is really just to provide a safe space for any single person who wants to turn up and pitch and practice their pitch, pivot, deliver some kind of wonderful, great big groundbreaking announcement, but preferably in the context of a pitch, of course. Typically, the kind of accelerator programs that I'm involved with elsewhere, and some of us, the rest of us on the call, typically some of it is a bit punitive. Okay, so let's say, for example, in fact, Mohammed runs one of our programs for FI somewhere in the world. Mohammed, we'll come to that in a second. But ultimately, if you score low, then you could get kicked out of the program, and that's no fun. So this is very much a safe space, like I said. So of course, that you'll remember Fight Club, right? So we've got some rules about Pitch Club. The first rule is try and talk about Pitch Club. Let's try and make it a bit of a thing. That would be wonderful. I'm going to be slightly less strict this week about the duration of the pitch. So it's anywhere between 60 and 90 seconds. And we're trying to give this week a little bit more feedback and see how we get. You've got a maximum of about 30 seconds to get your tech working, or we have to kind of move on, unfortunately. We might have a little bit more time today, but really, the rules are smile, enjoy, breathe. We got some lovely people, who are doing some mentoring and feedback, including Rush. Hi, Rush. Say hi, Rush. We got Mark. Mark was here last week, and we've got Mohammed as well, who I've just referred to. Say hi, Mohammed. There, just so that everyone knows where you are. There you are. Okay, cool. The obligatory. Okay, a little bit of a sales pitch, but look, hey, it took me 58 hours to set this up. So look, you can indulge me for 30 seconds here. Series 8 is all about trying to help as many founders as possible. And, myself and the team, we work with what feels like dozens of startups to do a great many different things. Pitch Club, as I said, is free forever. We're trying to get this every Wednesday with a good following. We have a wonderful pitch deck generator. So if anyone's turning up with no slides and no pitch deck, just use that. You can use it to your heart's content until you're ready to download, and then there's a bit of a fee to download. We're running sales training workshops, which I'm going to give you a code for at the end. Sales, to me, it's my whole life, right? It absolutely is. I love technology, I love founders, I love startups, but ultimately, if you're not selling, then you shouldn't be in a startup. Yeah, I just firmly believe that. So whether you're raising capital, whether you're pitching to a potential new customer, ultimately we always have to be selling. Hypergrowth is a sales engine that enables exactly that. Fractional CRO is effectively a portion of an expert, whether that's a chief revenue officer, a chief financial officer, a product officer, etc. So these are, all geared to startups. And very soon we're going to have deal rooms with up to 100,000 access to 100,000 investors, and a real global reach for an amplification of our programs. Some of you on the call are heavily involved with FI, myself included. I'm a director of the London chapter. The new cohort is starting in October. So we have an early deadline of September 23rd, where there's a bit of a cheapie. So if you are at the stage, and being a founder, I know, and many on the call can testify to this, it's lonely as hell. Yeah, it's really, really tough. In fact, I've spent pretty much my whole day today on my own, scratching my head. Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? Etc., etc. And this is a great way, being part of an accelerator is a great way to really figure out, what the hell you're actually talking about, what the hell your business is, and validating that concept, with some really, really strong mentors. We've got 25,000 mentors worldwide that are experts in their individual fields, and it's a wonderful program. So without much ado, what I will ask you guys to do is use the chat, please, on here. I'm just going to stop my share, and I'm going to come to the chat, because in the chat we're going to have hands raised in terms of who would like to pitch. Obviously, we can pick on people. There goes Mark already. Anyone else who would like to pitch? I feel like a market trader all of a sudden.
Tommy Fisher's pitching first, and then Bruce have said that they want to go next. So they've already volunteered to be first on the roster.
And I should have introduced Heather. This is the only reason I can juggle a billion things at once, is because around the back end somewhere, Heather is busily figuring stuff out. I should mention Heather has her own wonderful startup. She works with me at Series A. Mark Stanbury on the call, he works and does various things with me at Series A, and also has his own startup. And Rash runs a really, really successful business, and so on and so on. So we're and of course Mohammed down there, of course, he's a global director at FI as well. And we're all trying to help the community and trying to do as many great things. You're fed up with me, right? Over to the pitches. Tommy.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Likewise. Yeah, very well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really good. You can say I'm super excited about everything that's going to happen and go down today. What I would ask you guys, now, are we recording? Heather, are we recording? We are recording. Are you guys okay if this goes out onto YouTube on live, and we can pick it up after? Is that kind of like a yeah, all right? Or yeah, okay, cool, let's do it. Okay, right, that's set up and that is going live. Oh my gosh, how exciting. That's going live now. So Tommy, over to you. I've given you share screen. If you have a deck, fantastic. If you don't, that's totally fine. We're going to time you.
Bosh, can you see that?
Player app. Player ready.
You ready to rumble?
Hang on. I said about getting the tech ready. I'm ready to rumble when you're ready.
Is that full screened?
That we see the PDF view down the left-hand side. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Does the clock start when I start saying who I am, or
it does?
Myself, huh?
It does.
Okay. All right. I'm Tommy Fish, the founder of Player App, and for my sins, the founder and chairman of the mighty Hammersmith Football Club. So Player App is the football community platform built for the players. We believe that every player, regardless of level, all over the world, from London to Lagos, deserves to have a place to house their data and content and elevate their game. We want to inspire players to connect and compete with each other and share in the joys of football. Football is the most popular community sport globally. Yet, if you're not a pro player, you go completely unrecognized with nowhere for your achievements, stats, and content to live. You're essentially a nobody outside of your immediate community. This presents us with a massive opportunity because there are 300 million registered players globally, but only 0.5% of them are professionals, leaving us with an untapped market of over 99% of players to go after. And the time to strike is now. Football is becoming increasingly digitized and gamified with wearable technology and AI-powered cameras filming grassroots matches. And with social media splintering into interest-based vertical networks, this is exactly where Player App fits in. So we built one platform for the players to house everything from their content to their stats and league tables. In doing so, we give players ownership over their sporting ID in the way Meta do for social ID and LinkedIn do for professional ID. For the first time ever, footballers will be able to make every match count in the way runners and cyclists can make every session count on Strava. We plan to exponentially grow the user base, take over the grassroots ecosystem, and monetize from brands, SaaS services, and subscriptions.
Tommy, I think you were ended there anyway, so I was going to end you, but great, that coming around about 2 minutes. So very interesting. You've got some really quite interesting tailwinds as of today, right? Which was a wonderful achievement by the Lionesses, you know, down under. I'm gonna hand over to Rash. Rash, what do you think of Tommy's pitch there? What do you think? Any questions? You're on mute, I think, Rash.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Colin. Tommy, well done for presenting for a couple of minutes. You came across quite well. I come from a tax and accounting background. That's what my business does. So I'm going to head straight into a couple of things. The very first slide, I couldn't quite understand what your revenue model or what your actual business model is all about. Okay. Mm-hmm. I've seen a number of these apps coming through, and Colin probably Colin will probably comment a bit more. But if it's a B2C, it's all about user numbers and user engagement, and then converting that into some form of traction, which results in hopefully some sort of repeatable revenue. Yeah, Colin will focus a bit more on that. From what you've just said to me, from a corporate perspective, if you start to get investors, then please bear in mind these key words, SEIS and EIS reliefs, because investors will be able to get up to 50% tax relief in whatever they invest in you. Okay, so I don't want to say more because there's lots of people that want to ask on it.
Yeah, so I managed to get. I've got SEIS advanced insurance.
Great.
So that's the first step.
Great. Well done, Tommy.
Thank you, Rash.
With Rash, great feedback. Tommy, typically what we would do is drill in and have 5 minutes on, you know, on a big program and things like that, and really go into detail. Unfortunately, we don't have time on this kind of thing, but interesting. And yeah, what possessed you to do the whole football club thing? But you know, it's passion, right? It's passion, and that's what you're tapping into. And you know, as soon as you find some kind of passion, and you get other people with that passion, then you have a movement. And as soon as you have a movement, you have followers, and all of a sudden you can capitalize and monetize that. So it'd be very interesting to find out a little bit more, maybe outside of this. Cool. Thank you, Tommy. Well done going first. Awesome. Bruce, I believe. Where are you, Bruce? Bruce Almighty. Bruce.
Hi, Colin.
How are you? There you are. How are you, Bruce?
Thank you so much. Let me just share the screen.
I'm guessing you're from KitUp.
I am, yeah. What gave it away?
Oh, yeah, it's just a bit of branding there. Great, yeah. Great product placement.
Okay, let me just try and make this full screen for you. Is that now full screen for everyone?
That is full screen, Bruce. Ready when you
are. Well, amazing. Thanks for having me. And welcome to KitUp. We are the Airbnb for outdoor equipment. We enable accessible and sustainable adventure by connecting customers with equipment and businesses with customers. The adventure industry is booming across the world, and it's projected to continue doing so out to 2030, with a compound annual growth rate expected of excess of 30%. However, the equipment rental aspect of the industry is plagued with outdated websites and analog booking platforms that just aren't good enough for consumers. It's not what we're used to using. KitUp's here to change that with an integrated peer-to-peer and business-to-business platform. Our web app was launched in June earlier this year, and our mobile app, very excitingly, was launched last week. The way that our business works is that essentially we take 20% commission on all transactions from individuals and businesses. To date, we have 3,000 active users on the platform, with more than 150 being added every single week. We have a backlog of 5,000 people that have signed up to our waiting list, and we're steadily onboarding them as we speak. We've established our first 10 business-to-business clients within the platform, have commercial partnerships with manufacturers, schools, universities, nonprofits, and charities. And last year, we were shortlisted for a Sustainable Business Award for our contributions to the circular economy. All of this we've been able to do on a marketing budget of less than £2,000 a month. We're ready to scale this company, and within the next 5 years, we not only want to dominate the UK, but also Europe. Thank you.
Bruce, very good. Were you going through slides there, or was that the?
No, I just wanted to have
Right.
the background. Okay. I thought that adding it in for such a short pitch, I didn't think it.
No, that's I understand totally. Something that just a little bit of feedback from me. And first of all, I really like this. Absolutely in my wheelhouse. In fact, bizarrely, Mark and I were talking about a camper van that I bought maybe about 5 years ago, and I left it rotting, brand new, it was beautiful, and before I knew it, by the spring the next year, chickens living in it, and mold and all kinds of great things like that. But the adventure market, I'm not sure if camper van is adventure, but that kind of market, that homestay market, is massive at the moment. And so I'm looking at like power boats and things like that down here. I please rent me that out, and absolutely, totally get it. What I would say on the pitch, I spend my life telling people, first name, lovely to meet you, Bruce. How many users you got? Get that to the start of the pitch. As soon as you do that, you get investors sitting forward and going, "Oh yeah, this is serious stuff." Yeah, and that's my one nugget there. Mohammed, what do you think?
It's great, thank you.
I'm still learning about the session. I will jump later, giving feedback.
Wonderful, Mark. What do you think?
Really good, Bruce. Liked it, liked the concept, liked the idea. The sustainability piece is great, given where we are in terms of traction. You identified the opportunity, the problem, the solution, talk about the monetization, flowed very nicely. Yeah, very good.
Thanks, Mike.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Rash, what do you think? We've got a little bit of time here.
Thanks, Bruce. I think interesting idea. What I'm not yet convinced on, so I concur with what people are saying, but I'm just going to go from a slightly different angle. I'm not quite sure how big this market size will be. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it, and you've positioned it as an Airbnb type of alternative.
Yeah.
Want to understand the market size and actually whether there is a scalable business opportunity here. Yeah. So I'm not yet quite convinced.
Yeah, so in the UK alone in 2021, there was over 3.5 million pieces of outdoor equipment rented from 900 companies in the UK that brought in over 320 million in revenue just in the UK. If you then scale that out to Europe and to the rest of the world, the numbers become pretty enormous, actually.
Yeah, and that's what Colin is referring to, because if you're going to pitch this to investors, they want to know whether there is actually a business proposition properly here. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll try and squeeze that in. Thank you.
Great stuff, Bruce. Well done. Okay, who's next? Preeta.
Hi, Colin. How are you? Good to see you.
Where are you? There you are. There you are. How are you? Ah, we've met before.
Yes, we did.
Oh, guys, you're in for a treat. Oh.
You forgot me. I have not.
No, I didn't. No, I look. As soon as I see the deck, I remember you. Look.
Okay, so I'm also not going to run through the deck because this is a short presentation. So I'm going to get into my commentary once you set the clock up.
I'm ready when you are. You've got 90 seconds.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Preeta Monskar. I'm somebody who spent 21 years in B2B business, mostly in telecom, in India, in Singapore, and Middle East and Africa. Now I'm a full-time entrepreneur with this brand called as TailorSmart. We have created a platform which connects the local tailors, designers with a B2B/C kind of customers. We have close to about 800 plus tailors on our platform, which are divided into different specialities, 200 guys who only make suits, 100 guys who only make shirts, etc., etc. And we have cautiously chosen the route of B2B/C because most of the people who want to wear made-to-measure clothing, or most of the people who appreciate made-to-measure clothing are the ones they don't have the time to go and get. India is a large market for this type of business. It's close to about $180 billion market by 2025, second after the food market itself. And interestingly, only 38% of this is actually covered by organized retail, at least in India. So which means that your Marks and Spencers, your Shopper Stops or Lifestyles of the world is only covering 38% of the market. Remaining 62 is still made to measure, predominantly driven by a lot of these designer boutiques and B and C class towns. We have a tie-up with Reliance Retail, one of the largest conglomerates here in India. We have 12 shop-in-shop stores with them, and we also are expanding rapidly. We are one of their preferred vendors in some sense right now. So here we are. This is a platform that we have created to provide home service for made-to-measure clothing. That's about it.
Wonderful, thank you, Preeta. Okay, so looking around, like who likes their smart clothes? Mark, I'm going to go for you.
Yeah, so this is a great idea. I guess I'm still struggling to understand what that would look like in other regions. I can see how that's going to be very, very popular in India and other regions similar. So I'm a little bit confused as to the B2B versus B2C that you're talking about. I think a little bit more clarity around that. I understand, of course, that you're targeting to provide tailored clothing to businesses to then, I guess, resell to the end consumer, as well as then direct to the end consumer. But a little bit more clarity around that would be good.
Sure. This is a short presentation, but I have a slide on how we are planning to expand this. Let's say Middle East and Africa becomes a sweet spot. For example, we are looking to set up an office in Dubai. There's this interesting use case here from Bahrain, where there's a tailor called as a Hilton Tailor who does about 250 suits a month, has about 40 odd tailors with him. He wants to grow from 250 to 500. He cannot do that because he needs another 40 tailors, which is an expensive resource in a country like Bahrain. And in that case, we do 90% of the work here back in India because the sourcing of fabric is mostly right now happening from India, Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, because China, a lot of people don't want to buy from. So we do 90% of the work here, and the remaining 10% of the work Hilton Tailors does in Bahrain, that is the taking of the trial, finishing the suits, etc., with his 40 people. So what it does is it allows him to scale up to whatever number he wants, from 250 to 1,000, 250 to 2,000, without adding a single resource in Bahrain. So that these are the kind of use cases we have outside of India. I am just back from a trip to Seoul recently, where again we are looking at that place to be like a second biggest supplier of fabric to a place like India, right? Where we were earlier buying from China, we can now look at Seoul to replace that space. So once you're a platform, I think there are many opportunities. You have to just prioritize and then go through it.
Very interesting. I like it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Anyone else want to comment on it? Because we've got a little bit more time, and just to stress, we've done that on purpose because it was just brutal last week for anyone who was on the call. And there are a few of you. So anyone else got some thoughts on that?
Sarah had a question.
Sarah,
in the chat. Sarah Parham.
Hey Sarah, fine if you want to ask it yourself, but is it like the Bombay Shirt Company?
Yeah, that's right. The Bombay Shirt.
Is there something else I can help with?
Is that my Siri?
Sorry, my Siri has just answered on your behalf, Sarah.
We're slightly different than Bombay Shirt Company. Can I answer that?
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. So we are slightly different than Bombay Shirt Company. We are totally virtual. So we are app driven. We are not like, we don't have any physical stores. So before getting into this business, we did a lot of research around why companies like us failed in the past. We had more number of failures than successes. And one of the biggest reasons for that was a capex heavy model, right? Everybody who attempted this model had a lot of stock of fabrics or had a lot of tailors on board. Both is not very friendly to this kind of business, right? So we kind of eliminated that totally. So we don't keep a single meter of fabric in our stocks. It is only against orders. What we did in the 4 years that we got is we did some sexy tie-ups, right? So we have fabric from Raymond's, from CRM, from international brands like Huddersfield, you name it. We have all the brands that we want. That's the one thing that we did. And the second thing we are different is we don't have tailors on our platform, right? The tailors are there on the platform, but we don't pay them salaries. That help came from my co-founder, who comes from a 101-year tailoring legacy. He himself has been in the business for 21 years. So we could actually get these tailors on board without paying them any salaries. So we give them job works. So that also helps to actually expand our margins. Because since I'm giving them job works, it's a fixed cost to me whenever I'm giving it. And then I can ride on whatever margin that I decide to charge my customer, depending on the type of service that I'm giving. So I'm a very CapEx light kind of a model, which doesn't eat into your profits just because you're scaling up.
So you're keeping like the fabrics, like, do you know Obatemu in Mumbai when they were going? So they didn't keep fabric or anything. So you went in, they had certain products, you chose it, the fabric would then go to be dyed and then made for you, so that there was no waste.
No, not that. So we have the fabric, but it is in the swatches form. So it's a small cutout of fabric. So you have serum, maybe. So once you call me for, let's say, a suit, and on the app you have chosen to show that, you know, you are more like a blue person, likes a lot of checks or likes a lot of lines. We understand that first before sending our people. We have a 2-member team that goes to the customer. One of them is a salesperson who is also a designer, fashion designer. And she, yeah, sorry.
You know what? I love this, so I could listen to this all day, but we're going to have to squeeze some others in. And Sarah,
sorry about that for long answers.
No, seriously,
I
really like this. And so we should let's talk again and see who we can introduce you to. Wonderful. The next volunteer / victim was Eve. Hi, Eve. How you doing? What's Visibility Gym? Oh, this is exciting. Oh, okay. Or a lioness. Other. Okay. Good. Eve, you're on mute, but we'll let you off. And we can't hear you. Oh no, you're still on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfect. There you go.
So I never pitched this platform before, so I would like to hear your feedback on slides as well. So let's
ready when you are.
Yeah, let's start. So 75% of population have the fear of public speaking, which is called glossophobia, which is considerably a second fear after the fear of death. So it's really, really big and impact your confidence. So what is the most accessible and effective way to boost your confidence, get new clients, improve your personal branding, and improve your personal communication style? Well, live and recorded videos. In fact, based on my communication with experts, video can work for you even when you sleep, because your video is still there on YouTube, people are converted, so you can make business. It's a good skill to have. And that's a long story which you don't need to read, but I will share that with you. My personal experience, I've been creative director for over 20 years in advertising. And when I wanted to introduce video for my blog in 2009, I didn't do it for 4 years. I told myself all the kind of stories about buying perfect equipment. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I don't know how to present, who will ever listen to me, my home is not perfect enough, all the stories. My first video after 4 years after the course on public speaking took 168 takes. I hate every single one of that. And I didn't start creating video after that. It was heavily criticized. So it's changed when I said enough is enough. And I took visibility challenge and I took videos again and again and again and again. And after 30 days, I realized I can do videos and I no longer have fears. So I dive deep into science and start understanding how this works, how fears work, how neuroscience work, crazy things, right? So that helped me to work successfully with my clients, improve my situation in business. And in 2018, I successfully started my own first visibility challenge, which called Visibility Gym. We're working with our visibility muscles. So students had tremendous results. In fact, people get from fear of stage to speaking on TV shows, on radio shows, creating their own shows on LinkedIn and social media. So results are amazing. But Visibility Gym did run as a course. It's a 14 days course. So people took participate, get results, but wanted more. So, sorry.
No. It's all good. I'm going to have to time you out. Okay. So
Yeah.
when the alarm goes off, guys, that's 1.5 minutes right there. So I think you did about 2.5 minutes. So Eve, just a little bit of maybe fine tuning. Again, get some of the real juicy stuff to the front. This slide here, and you were right in calling out the fact that there's a whole bunch of different words on the slides. You did comment on that, which made me try and read it whilst listening to you. And you know, you're hugely eloquent, and clearly you've been on your own course, and as you said, have learnt this quite well. But not all of us are either articulate, intelligent, you know, or eloquent, and maybe we can't keep up with you. So sometimes when you have that much text, it's what do I do? And you instill a sense of panic in your audience because they don't know what to do. So you're instructing them with your words. Yeah, to basically look at some graphics.
I can remove that slide, to be honest. I just put it for the fact the story will be here.
Next time. I really like the story. I'm delivering a keynote thing in November. We've got about 5,000 people in the audience, apparently. I don't believe them, it's probably 15. But, you know, now I have a process for those things, you know, and I'm kind of used to it. Yeah. It scares the life out of me still. Anyone else?
I can help you with that.
Life out of? Heather, how are you with this?
With this particular pitch?
Public speaking.
Yeah, I know. It spoke right to my soul. I think it's a really personal pitch because it comes from, you obviously identify quite strongly about, and it comes from a very passionate place about how you were so terrified. So I think you can really feel like how you felt. But I think you're so right. I mean, it blows my mind that it's the second biggest fear after a fear of death. But I mean, I'm one of those people. I struggle a lot with like doing, you know, this kind of thing with pitching. But I think the video aspect is really good because it's practice. And the more and more you do it, the more you get used to seeing yourself on camera, and the more yourself, it's like, you know, you do your first TikTok, you go, oh God, that's so cringe. And then after a while, you kind of, I think one of Harry Stebbings, one of the VC guys, he said it's a bit like going to the gym. The first time you go, it feels weird and it's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what equipment to use. And then the next time you go, and you just feel like you get used to it. So it's all just about keep repeating the same motion. And I think that's a really good mechanic in terms of using video to harness the skills.
Thanks, Heather. Eve, they're trying to get me on TikTok, but you know, I'm resisting.
He's coming on TikTok. He has to go on TikTok.
Okay, so look, just from a time perspective, I think we should just rattle on a bit. So Mark, you went last week. Prita, Eve, great job, Eve, by the way. Thank you for that. I really enjoyed that. Let's just work on trying to get some of the juicy stuff at the front. And I think the pain is highly articulated. Yeah, but I now want to understand how you're going to address the pain. Yeah,
it wasn't that other slides which we didn't see.
It's another slide, of course. I've got a slide for that.
Colin, we've got Mohammed next. Yes. He raised his hand.
No,
is that your full name, Mohammed? Mohammed next?
No, I don't have a pitch. No, I don't have a pitch. I just wanted to give a short feedback that first elaborating on what you said and giving juicy stuff, and second, to be more specific, numbers. Investors love numbers, whatever it is. The story is very great in general, but maybe in the second, third time that you are pitching to them to see their background. First, investors want to know if you are a good person to run this business, and second, if they can make money out of it. So try to answer to this question maybe in the first minute, if you have, for example, 3 minutes. That's it.
Thanks, Mo. Great feedback. Okay, so Tavanga, are you there?
Tavanga raised their hand. I'm guessing that was for pitching.
Tavanga.
It was me.
Oh, it is you. It's your. Sorry.
You mentioned.
It's your full name. Sorry, that's my error.
We've got Hussein next.
Yeah, it's a long name.
Mark, over to you next. And then I'm going to start picking on people. I picked on someone on the WhatsApp because I knew he was there, and he's just dropped. How are you, Mark?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, nice to be back. Nice to be back.
Excellent. Excellent.
Got
Right.
a slightly revised version today, so hopefully.
So
works
just
for you.
out of interest, what did you work on? What was the
So
thing to mark?
I've kind of just blown out the 1 minute pitch. So I know last week we talked about 1 minute pitch. I had one slide last week with kind of top line story. I've just kind of turned that into more of a flowing narrative. So
nice one.
That comes across.
Right, wonderful, excellent. We're looking forward to this. So you got 90 seconds.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Mark, I'm a co-founder, and I'm introducing Major Label Artists Club. Our proposition is Your Music Life Simplified. So our founding team writes, produces, and champions new music every day. And everyone knows there's no money to be made in music. These are the headlines you see all too often. But that doesn't stop musicians from dreaming. And when music is in you, you never stop making it. Last year, DIY musicians and labels released over 20 million tracks. That's 41% of the world's music. And they spent over 100 million just to get their music on Spotify. Then they spent even more money on websites, shops, landing pages, PR, and promotion. And after all that, only 18% are confident they actually get paid what they're owed. It's not just the money. Releasing and promoting music is hugely complicated, and musicians are forced to use an average of 7 different services. Major Label solves both these problems. So we get the whole band paid automatically from one multi-user account, and we provide all the tools they need to run their music career online in one place. So you don't need to go to 7 services, you can just go to 1. So our business model is freemium subscription. We're building traction, so we've already got a working demo. We've got the support of a former music distribution company founder, and we've got over 2,400 musicians on our waitlist. And now we're looking for 100K to complete the build and launch. And we are signing up for SICE to offer that 50% tax relief for UK taxpayers. Thank you.
Great job, Mark. Great job. That was 92 seconds, maybe 92.5. Heather, you just raised your hand.
I know, I don't know how to unraise it now, but I'll just say, I think that was such a brilliant, much better pitch than last week. Not much better, but just felt like I totally got what you were trying to do this week.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think I understand it now, and I understand the concept. I understand all the things that everyone looks for in a pitch deck. Not that I'm an expert by any stretch of imagination, because I'm also on the fundraising trail, but yeah, it just makes so much more sense to me. It's really good.
Brilliant, thank you.
And also introducing Danny. Danny runs a great marketing agency somewhere west of here. Got in the Cotswolds, that's right, just down the road from Mark. And Danny's also involved with FI as one of the directors as well. So Mark, there you go, Danny.
Mark, that's the first time I've heard your pitch, so I can't compare it to the last time. I just want to say it was brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
One of the biggest struggles for anyone is simplifying a concept that is naturally complicated. The music industry is massively complicated, especially when it comes to streams and payments and things like that. The fact that you could show visually that it was all in one place, but also the way that you communicated it alongside the visual was great, mate. Like, I'm 100% bought in. I'm very excited about this. So yeah, for a 90-second pitch, that was bang on, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to give you some props. And
thank you. I'm glad you weren't here last week.
It's great. Yeah.
So just to confirm, Danny, you did like it.
I love it. Yeah.
It was great, fantastic. Look, hey, you don't often get Danny getting quite so effusive about that. He normally can sit a little bit on the fence, can't you, Danny? To be fair,
I am
Rash,
generally an on the fencer, actually. So yeah.
Rash, what do you think? And then get Mark to give some feedback.
Yeah, no, Mark, well done. That was a really good pitch, and really on the back of what Danny said, that is on the ball. What I would challenge you on, however, is what Danny said. The music business. I don't know too much about the music business, but what you are doing seems to be very complicated. Okay, so I'm the numbers guy. So when I look at your ask and the fact that you already got some sort of MVP, one of my first sort of challenges will be, well, what are you doing with the MVP? Yes, you have bootstrapped it. Have you got some sort of traction with potential sales figures or something that you can show? Is the first comment. And the second comment is your ask just seems too low to me. Okay, so there's a credibility gap straight away. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
so
good challenge.
Take that. I know you only have 90 seconds to do it, but take that as feedback to then improve the pitch, which is what this is about, right? So I don't believe that 100K will be the last ask that you're gonna come back to me on.
No.
I think that's a really good point, Rash. And you know, sometimes, I mean, look, we collectively see a lot of pitches. You know, like dozens and dozens, and you know, very often the ask is, I want $1 billion to take on, you know, Pfizer, and you're like, yeah, come on guys, you know, maybe that's a bit much, you know. And then you got some smaller asks, and it's a very dare I say, Mark, a very British thing. We're almost a little bit apologetic. So there's some happy ground in the middle, and the happy ground is we need to understand as investors, you know, what your runway looks like, and 100K is going to get you how far down that runway. Because to Rash's point, look, much as I'm sure your investors will love to talk to you and love to chat to you, they don't want to see you in 6 months' time or 4 months' time. You know, when you have an unexpected expense, you know, AWS fees go up through the roof, etc. You know, and you don't want to be coming back, certainly cap in hand, you know, oh, can I have some more, like Oliver Twist kind of style, you know. So maybe there's an opportunity, certainly in some of the skills that you've got in the room here, to work on that ask and justify and
the number at the moment, and we have been sort of talking about this back and forth between myself and my co-founder. So we have we built half the app, and 50K of that 100K is the fee for the developers to finish building the app.
Gotcha.
So we've given ourselves a 50K budget essentially to kind of launch and to get into the market. Now we recognize that is obviously, you know, the start, not the end. But we are also hoping that because of my music platform already, my blog, we start from a good position. So we get quite a lot of organic traffic. We've got those 2,400 musicians on a wait list.
Yeah,
this is not the final budget for world domination. It's
no.
the budget to get to the kind of start line and give ourselves a chance to kind of get, you know, customers on board, really, I guess.
Danny's just made a good point in the chat here. Look, it's as much a positioning tool as it is a logical means to an end. Absolutely spot on. Because, you know, an MVP, you know, it should be an MLP. We kind of use MLP, minimum lovable product, but it's by no means the be all and end all. And I guess it's positioning the art of the possible. And if it's not fully done, you know, that's phase 2, that's phase 3. And then you've got an opportunity to upsell and cross-sell into new features and functions and all that kind of stuff. So, but hey, just to go back to Danny's original comments, really, really good. In fact, Mark Stanbury, you haven't had a go just yet at Mark. We've got a bit more time.
Yeah, Mark, that was, I'm not going to say worlds apart from last week, but it was definitely a lot better, a lot clearer. I love the slides. I love the positioning. It flowed, very good story. It told me everything I needed to know. I echo some of the comments that the guys have already made. So yeah, but the simplicity of the slides and the narrative behind it was very good.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Excellent, excellent. Isaac, where are you, Isaac? You still there, Isaac?
Yes, I'm here. Quite here, but I'm kind of trying to get an overview of what exactly this is. So possibly, or perhaps next week I'll show up with my concept. Yes.
You know what? It's totally. I don't want to put you on spot, but remember, this is a safe space. Even if you've got 30 seconds to articulate an idea, you know, don't worry. If not, absolutely push back and say, Colin, no, next week. Totally fine.
Okay, it's actually an impact investment fund, which of course I represent a number of social entrepreneurs across Africa. So essentially, what we do is that we identify, finance, and develop some kind of incubation for them, especially those operating in the informal sector. So essentially, it's advancing social, economic business models and markets to build an inclusive economy. So that is essentially, yeah, that's essential. But I think I'll come with a full concept next week once I'm ready to go. Yes.
Isaac, totally fine. Thank you though for articulating that. I feel that you've kind of, I'm looking forward to next week now. You know, we certainly in FI and maybe before your time, Danny, but Heather, was it in your cohort where we did have a couple of very, very interesting social impact businesses delivering farming training courses to people in Africa, and actually doing very, very well. So the whole kind of social impact, sustainability, ESG, all the kind of, you know, stuff that, you know, we need to really be focused on. Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to next week. Sam, do you have anything for us?
Oh, hi, Colin. Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure.
Fantastic place today. Really glad I tuned in today.
Pleasure.
Well, I could, you know, on the fly do a pitch. I have nothing prepared, but maybe I can give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot. Awesome.
Okay. All right. My name is Sam Igwe, and I'm a co-founder of Susumi Capital. Susumi Capital is a blockchain platform for decentralized crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, of course, is something that we are all pretty much used to. Everybody understands. But our focus is on the 2 billion people around the world who don't have access to institutional personal credit. Okay, and also the $150 billion per annum that comes through diaspora remittances, specifically or particularly towards the global south. So when I talk about the 2 billion people, we're not really saying people who are unbanked. Some of these people actually do have bank accounts, but don't have access to things like credit cards and personal overdrafts. So when these people need to make bulk sum expenses, how do they cope? So there's always been that social community safety net where people help each other and support others, raise money for other people. So it's always been happening. And we find out that in some areas, these systems have become kind of systemized. They become systemized in that people form themselves into groups to support each other, kind of pulling funds together. So that's what is called a SUSU. And this is also called, what do you call it? It's like a rotational savings and credit association. So this system has it works very well, it's been working, but it has its setbacks in that there's usually a lot of trust that is required. So what we have done is looked at this and say, okay, how can this system scale so that you don't need to trust people, you don't need to find others in your network to be able to also participate from this kind of system. So we kind of codified the whole thing and created a variation based on smart contracts. So the smart contract governs the process through which people can contribute money and give to one person at a time. And that's what we call decentralized crowdfunding. So we are using cryptocurrency as the medium, and we want to launch that on various blockchains. And what we are looking for right now is $500,000 to complete the build out. We've actually started, we bootstrapped it, but along the line, we found out we needed a lot more capacity than what we have because of the size of the market. So we're looking to raise new funds to relaunch a version 2.0 now.
Wow, Sam, not bad considering you didn't have anything prepared. So thank you, really thank you for coming along. Now, so, on my kind of pad of plenty down below my desk here, I've written down unbanked, and you addressed that. I've written down microfinance, micro loans. I've written down crypto, and there seems to be some kind of really interesting Venn diagram that, you know, I feel like I need to draw, you know, where there's the convergence of all these different, very interesting, both technologies, but also issues. Interesting. Do you have slides and things like that?
Yeah, I do have a kind of a PDF. I have a you know, kind of a pitch deck prepared, but I just didn't prime it for today. So I do have, yes.
Let's go round for some feedback. Rash, you're itching? Are you itching to say something? I think you are. You're on mute.
Sam, well done for presenting with no slide decks and very little preparation. That does impress me quite a bit. I like the concept. We have got a number of clients actually doing various things in Africa, okay, with crypto and blockchain. So I know that market, there's a lot of energy and a lot of activity happening, okay? My biggest challenge back to you, and I think there could be a way around it, is are you trying to tackle such a big problem in such a big way? So my steer to you would be, are you able to potentially look at a smaller community, going back to what Colin is saying, which is a minimum lovable product for one particular part of the community where you can actually test what you've got, and then you can start to scale it out into other areas. Okay, so I think messages are you trying to tackle too much with such a large goal, that you're going to lose the detail as to what you're trying to do. Okay. But well done.
Thanks,
Rash. Thank you very much.
Well,
if it's a question, yes, you are right. That as we've also found out, there's a whole lot that's involved, and the thing is that because for this to be really viable, it needs to scale. You need more people involved, and the mechanism which we're using is that we've created a cryptocurrency which we call the Susu coin. So basically, the mechanism is that if people, if somebody's raising a crowdfunding campaign, say he wants to raise $1,000, right? Then he needs to get a group of people who would contribute into that campaign. So they say 10 people would give him $100 each. Okay, so the way it works is that for each $100 that is contributed into the campaign, the donor who gave the $100 receives $100 equivalent of Susu coin in return. Okay, now only when the campaign, of course, is matures, that everybody gets their money. So the guy who's in the campaign gets $1,000. The people who contribute get $100 each worth of Susu coin. Now that Susu coin, he can either keep it or he uses it as a ticket to create his own campaign. So for you to create a campaign on the platform, you need to stake some Susu coin upfront. So now the issue is that for that to become viable, the Susu coin needs to have some kind of reference. It needs to have a value outside of us. So we need to list it on an exchange where it has a reference value for people. So although it makes sense to say, okay, let's try to find a small place to work it with, because we have to have it publicly listed, it has to have a reference value. If not, our concept doesn't really begin to start. However, taking what you have said, there are quite a number of other applications of the same concept. So what we are focusing on right now to start with is just to get the idea with individual fundraising. But subsequently, we want to use the same principle to increase it to where enterprises can use the same principle to raise money, communities can use the same principle to raise money going forward. But right now, we're just focusing on just getting individuals in small groups to raise money. Yeah.
Exactly. And therein lies the challenge.
Guys, go on, Raz, go on.
Sam, therein lies a challenge. So I will send you a couple of business case studies around exactly what you've said. So what you're doing, there's a number of other similar case studies.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
Awesome. Just Mark, I did say you 30 seconds of feedback, please, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Look, interesting, and I'm aware of some other kind of similar platforms out there. I'd like to see more, of course. The Susu coin, is that SUSU or how you spell it? Yeah. So I see there's, and again, confusing, but there's quite a few Susu coins on the exchanges. So I'm not sure how that works, but that seems to be a challenge potentially for you. And the trust factor, of course, comes into this in terms of people investing into that or utilizing that coin, especially when there are numerous coins on the exchanges. So I'd like to understand more the next time and see a full pitch of this. But it was good to kind of it was a good job that you did to kind of pick it up and just run with it today without a deck. So yeah, well done.
Thank you very much,
Sam. Yeah, thank you for that. Feel free to come back any week. Love to hear how you're developing. If you want to reach out, please do that, and we'd love to have a chat. If you don't have a pitch deck, anyone doesn't have a pitch deck, then just go to pitched.seriesa.co, and it's a free forever pitch deck generator, pitch deck builder. So you pay to download the materials at the end, but it gives you a huge amount of value along the way. It's asking you all the pertinent questions, and we've designed it so that it's very much aligned to what an investor is going to ask. Also, like I said, basically the one thing that everyone is missing and will miss as a founder of a startup is really sales skills. So basically this is a course designed by myself specifically for startups, so that we take you through all of the different processes, all of the different things that you need to be able to position a deal with your potential customers, and if it's a big corporate or something like that, then great, and if it's not, then that's great too. So there's a 25% discount. We've got one coming on 25th of August. Don't forget FI. If you want to, sorry, let me get back. FI is a great program. Let's move on. If you want to book for next week, scan that QR code. If I've kept your phones too busy with other QR codes, I apologize. And what we'll do with if everyone's okay with it, we'll put the pitches up onto the Series A YouTube channel. Last week pitches are up there. There's a selection of pitches there. This week we've had the opportunity to delve much deeper into some of the pitches. And what we'll do, depending, hey, look, it's August, people are on holiday, etc. And what we'll do, as we get this kind of flex, etc., we'll do more pitches, and some weeks we'll do less pitches and really dig in like we have today. But what I would love to do is just thank you all for coming. Thank you all for turning up. Thank you for pitching. Even if you weren't quite ready to pitch, thank you for doing that. It's a massively difficult skill, as Eve will testify to, as Heather will testify to, even us old nuts who've been doing it for a long time, and I'm including you in that, Rash, and you in this, Danny and Mark. We all still get, the butterflies, and we still get the imposter syndrome and all that kind of crap that, we shouldn't really get. We still get it, but use that and take that energy and turn it into something positive. And we'll really look forward to having you at the next Pitch Club. Sound good?